Hey everyone, it's Evan here from the Trade Risk on Monday, July 24th. We're intraday right now. It's a couple of hours before the market close, and I wanted to bring you just two trade ideas, two sectors that I'm watching into this week. Things that, two sectors that you may find interesting for your watch list or some trade ideas, and we're going to talk about those in just a minute. You can see the S&P 500 pretty stale here to start off the week. We have a super busy week. We have lots of earnings on deck. We have the Fed out on Wednesday, so there's plenty of the market to chew on going through the next 5 trading days. We'll do our midweek update on Wednesday and then again on Friday, so you can stay up to date with some of the latest market movers and some thoughts and analysis from us on that, so stay tuned on the channel. But let's get into some of these trade ideas. So the first is financials, and financials probably something that isn't new here. We've been talking about this sort of setup in the sector for a little while now, but we can see here that XLF has been consolidating sideways for the past several weeks, basically all of July, and they're starting to show some relative strength here today and starting to get a little bit of a breakout above this trend line and trying to clear some of these recent highs here from the past several days of trading. So I like XLF here. You can see it had a strong June. It came all the way back, got up to the March highs, pulled back, consolidated to let the 20 period catch up, and we just have this sort of low volume consolidation in here right underneath prior all-time highs or very close to all-time highs. So I like the XLF, something I'm paying attention to. I have no position in this sector, in this ETF right now. By the end of the day, that could change. I'm looking at either the XLF, maybe even Citigroup or JPM. I mean, these two are going to trade very similar to the XLF. They're very strongly correlated. You could start to look at some of the smaller banks and financials, other institutions that might get you a little more diversified, maybe a little more beta, but something to pay attention to. I like the XLF, good on multiple time frames, starting to show that relative strength, so something to pay attention to. On the complete other side of the spectrum, XLE. XLE, the energy space, has been beaten up now since the end of December, the end of 2016, December 2016. So you can see it's been in this multi-month, very sort of orderly down channel, and you can see now just recently over the past couple of months since June, we've really kind of moved more sideways than lower. Now it's still an extremely speculative and early stage here for the XLE, so it depends on certainly your time frame and strategy. If we look at the weekly chart, for example, again, you see this downtrend very cleanly depicted here. 8 and 20 period moving averages on the weekly chart, bearishly aligned. So structurally, this thing is still in a downtrend, but for you tactical traders out there, something to pay attention to is just this sideways action here. My ideal situation is not seeing us, is basically seeing as we start to pull back here. I'd really like to see this market, this ETF, hold about 64.50 or so, not come cratering back down to the lows. That would sort of invalidate any interest that I have in this setup at this time. But if we could at least hold in here above 64.50 and then start to pivot and head higher, getting back above hopefully what could stay bullishly aligned 8 and 20 period moving averages here on the daily chart, that might get me interested in some type of reversal trade, some type of break trend reversals trade on this time frame. Again, I think you have to be tactical. I think you gotta be either nimble here. If you're longer term, maybe you're picking your spot or selectively sort of scaling in, but something to pay attention to. The other interest here, as the ETF again is still looking fairly in shambles here, but what is got my interest is some of the individual components starting to surface on my scans. There are a few, but the only thing that the only one I have that comes to mind right now is TSO. So TSO, you can see, take a look at this monthly chart. This is just an energy name, and you can see here that the monthly chart, you can see as this is stabilized, it's actually starting to work itself higher. This chart actually looks pretty good. So as we start to get more of these individual companies that are starting to actually put in those bases, starting to lift higher, that's going to help fuel the XLE, stabilize the XLE, and hopefully give us that trade opportunity. So a little more speculative, completely on the other side of the spectrum. XLF, nice clean orderly uptrend. XLE, more of a reversal trade. So that's what I have for you guys here on Monday. Thanks so much for watching. If you guys want more trade ideas, of course we have those premium services there on the Trade Risk, which you can go check out. But if you follow along on this YouTube channel, on the blog, we do post many of these trade ideas that we have out several times a week. So hopefully that helps. Have a good week trading, and talk to you guys again soon.